The main difference between traditional dovetail joinery and CNC joinery, or most CNC joinery, is the shape of the joints themselves. And the shape of the joints is determined by the shape of the tool that is cutting the joints. Now, the dovetail joinery I showed right at the top of this video, I actually cut with a CNC, and I'm going to be showing that on the second half of this video. Alright, so if you want to make joinery with the CNC, then the first piece is held, as you can see, I'm taking it off right now off the machine. It's held down like any normal piece of plywood or flat material on the machine, and cut that way. And then the second piece needs to be clamped vertically, just as the joint is held together. You know, the joint is a right angle joint, and that's how it's cut as well. The cutting in the end grain is obviously easier. This is the first piece I cut was a piece of oak. This is a piece of ash, just to mark the difference of the joinery better. The interesting thing that can be observed here is how differently wood behaves if you're cutting end grain than if you're cutting normally across the grain or even with the grain. The shavings have a completely different shape. Cutting end grain is actually, with the router, it's very easy to cut end grain accurately. I found doing it this way, I can test and see if it fits and recut it if it doesn't, while the wood is still clamped in the machine. Now, for cutting a traditional dovetail with the CNC, both pieces are mounted vertically, and I've started by cutting, just pre-cutting this piece of oak with a 6mm twin flute upcut bit, which I now change. I'm taking it out of the chuck, and the most important part of this joint is this bit, which I'm putting into the machine right now, which is a dovetail bit. And I made a mistake here. I was impatient, so everything, all of the material broke out of the front and the back of this joint. You'll see while I'm cutting it. I decided to use this part of the video anyways. You know, I made this mistake, so you don't have to, I guess. And yeah, so you can see it's just breaking out all along. I mean, oak likes to do this anyways, and I was asking for trouble doing this. So on the next time, the second time, I'm clamping the piece of wood I want to keep in between two other pieces of wood, and that way it has no way of the wood has no way of breaking out, and it will stay clean. It will stay clean on both sides. Okay, now I used an 1/8mm compression bit. This is my favorite, the bit I use most for routing in general. I use this small bit simply to avoid the breakout, because I could have clamped this in between two pieces of wood, but I didn't, just because it's easier to show the cut if it's not, you know, if it's exposed. So that's why I showed it exposed. And and it fit first time, so I didn't have to recut it or anything. I'm planning on doing a second video showing with the how-to of doing ornamental joinery on the CNC. If you have any questions related to this video or CNC joinery in general, I'd appreciate it if you put that in the comments.